Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Elevating Your Life. Today is going to be so fantastic, so informative. I am just been counting the days to share this amazing guest with you. Today we have with us Justin Frandson. He is an athleticism performance coach and author. He founded athleticism.com over 26 years ago, working with amateur and professional athletes doing nerve and fascia work for sports performance and treats concussions. Over a dozen years ago, he saw his athletes breaking down from wearable technology and looked to nature for the answers. His EMFrocks.com grounding bags are an industry leader in electromagnetic radiation protection to help you sleep deeper as well. They are sold through doctor clinics across the country. Justin, I am just so thrilled and excited to talk to you about this. I have been very interested in EMF from, years ago, doing some interviews, and I love your grounding rocks. I'm excited to try them. So first off, welcome to the show, Justin.
Oh, Paula, thank you so much for having me on.
I am just thrilled. Well, I would love to begin with kind of what got you into this and your research and then creating what you've done and what triggered this for you.
Definitely. Well, as you just mentioned in the intro, thank you for that. I'm an athleticism performance coach. I started athleticism.com almost 30 years ago, working with these amateur and professional athletes. And what I saw in the space was one of the strongest, fittest athletes breaking down from wearable technology. And this was over a dozen years ago. And he said, Justin, I have pain in my wrist. And I said, well, where? And he pointed right to where this smartwatch was on his wrist. And I looked at him and I said, hey, take the radiation off your wrist, take the watch off. And he took the watch off and then the pain went away. And that was the aha moment for me where I knew I had to study deeper about how we are one with nature and how these man-made electromagnetic fields affect us. And so that's what got me into rolling out EMFrocks.com and our grounding bags and looking to nature's resonance with our grounding bags to help us heal and coexist with all this 5G and wireless signals.
Yeah. So basically, for anyone, that maybe never has heard of EMF or doesn't know much about it, what exactly is it and how does it affect us?
Oh, that's a great question. So EMFs are electromagnetic fields. Now, there's two different types. They can be native, which are just innate cosmic fields and shifts and waveforms that we are one with. And those are based off of, we call them scalar waves. They're waves that are unpolarized, they distribute equally in every direction. Or they can be man-made electromagnetic fields. We call them electromagnetic radiation because they're a one-directional waveform, or they don't work. So the actual framework of the speed of the waveforms and the wavelengths and how they're designed are polar opposites. The native ones distribute equally, they're scalar waves, and then the man-mades, they're one directional or they don't work.
Wow. Wow. So man-made would be, for an example, the iWatch. And it's
Man-made, let me back that up for you. Man-made would be everything from electricity, just electricity in all our homes, dirty electricity, static in a line, and then to wireless signals. And the way, if signals go in and out of a junction, they have to meet, or you have static. So that's how we know these are all one-directional waveforms in our environment. Now, the cell tower panels, they have panels facing every direction. And the reason is because they're only able to broadcast in that one direction. That's why you have panels facing all different directions. They can bend them about 30 degrees, but they're one directional waveforms. But our Earth, that's not how it works. That's not how the sun works. My hand, there's a window right here. So you can still see all this light behind it. If it was one directional, you would just see a laser dot and nothing on the other side of it. Or another example would be if I'm getting grounded by nature and earthing, and I'm outside and I'm standing in Earth's resonance and getting grounded here, but then I move 2 feet over to the right, you're still getting grounded. You're still getting the Earth's resonance. It's a resonance that comes up and it distributes equally in every direction. And a couple other examples were during the whole COVID thing, they didn't say stay 6 to 8 feet away from, someone's right ear in a straight line. They said in every direction, our energy field goes out about 6 to 8 feet in every direction, not just in a straight line. And then the last example would be, if I dropped a pebble into a pond, Paula, and I'm perpendicularly over the pond, I drop it in, the resonance of the pond distributes equally in every direction in a circular form, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why doesn't it drop and go in a straight line? Well, that's not the framework of the waveforms in our environment. They're not one directional. So those are the two differences. And when you introduce a one directional waveform that's non-native into our environment, it affects our health and our sleep in so many different ways.
Oh, wow. Wow. So with mentioning sleep, you say that EMF Rocks product can help your sleep be up to 60% deeper. How is
60.
that? I'm 60%. I'm so excited. I've ordered a bag, but share a little bit about that with us.
Well, everyone looks to nature to get grounded, right? Yes, and so did we. And the reason nature has the most innate, incredible medicinal healing properties. And we rev one with nature. So when we're sleeping, Paula, we're in a delta or theta brainwave state. That's a brainwave state when we measure the speed of the waveforms in our brain, the activity of our brain is about 1 or below 1 to 8 hertz. And let's convert that to a wave per second. So 1 or below 1 to 8 waves per second. That's a low and slow wavelength of a brain when we're sleeping and getting into those rapid eye movements and getting that lucid dreams and the restorative state. The Earth's resonance, that Schumann resonance, the healing pulse of the Earth is the same. It's about 7.83 hertz. So when we're sleeping, we're about at the same resonance of the Earth. So when our athletes are in the flow state, they're in an alpha brainwave state. They're in about 8 to 13 hertz or waves per second. When they're in the zone, they can't miss. So we rev, sleep, and optimize one with nature's resonance. So for me, I thought, well, why don't we just bring her resonance into our home to create that coherence? And that's why the grounding bags are able to help us get into those deeper restorative sleeps, because they do bring in nature's resonance into your homes. When we live in these homes, we call them homes, but they're really electrical boxes. For 140 years, it's all electricity. That's a stressor. It's a low-level stressor, but it's nonetheless a stressor on our body. But when you can create a coherence with that field and our fields, then we can get into those deeper sleeps. And that's how the grounding bags help up to 60%.
Oh, that is so fantastic. That is so wonderful to learn about and be able to bring that in. Oh my gosh. Because really, we have to learn to coexist with
We
this,
do.
don't we?
It's not going away. It's not going away. And so for me, what I love to share, and I'm so grateful you're allowing me to share this information, is we're not really taught about how we interplay with our environment. We're just like, oh, it's daytime, it's nighttime, and then you go to bed. Like, there's not much more. It's kind of when I was teaching athletes to be a speed coach and teach them how to run. Kids aren't taught to run. They just say, go run. Unfortunately, we're not taught these simple elements of how our whole world works, and we interplay with it. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm sharing that, hey, we're one with nature. We're made on these scalar waves. They're unpolarized. We do really well with it. We heal with it. When we're outside getting grounded, we pull nature's resonance and we get the negative ionic charge from the earth that supports our electron transport chain, which gives us energy. That's why everyone says, hey, go have a picnic, go get barefoot, could touch a tree, hug a tree, get into bodies of water, all that. We also get it from the sun. Yeah, we get this unpolarized light of the sun because our bodies are essentially a holograph of light. We're light bodies, we're light beings, and we communicate through light. And so that's why you see someone young and healthy, they're glowing, right? They have this light that's just vibrant in their system. That's how the cells communicate. So we do really well with sunlight. We also, as Zach Bush will say, we get it from the air. So breathe in different minerals or different environments, I should say, and get in the forests and get out of the beach and just get in different climates to breathe in different ecosystems, and that will feed you. Hopefully we get nutrients from our food if when we source it clean and biodynamic and organic and regenerative farmed. And then the last element of how our body battery charges is through water. We get water, hopefully we're drinking spring water, and we get minerals from that as well, and we get the conductivity of it all. So if we're missing any one of those 5 elements, Paula, our body battery is not running on full cylinders. So just like a car battery, if it loses water, it dies. Our body batteries, if we're missing any one of those elements, we're not optimized.
Wow. So the key thing is to optimize our body and keep our battery running strong.
Through nature's resonances.
Yes, yes,
No matter if we're inside or outside.
yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So what would you say to someone listening? Okay, I want to start doing more of that. What would some of the first steps be to take?
Well, the first step would be just to get outside. And if you're not comfortable being barefoot, then just find a tree and look for any ants or something on it and make sure it's clear and just touch the tree. You'll be able to just start grounding doing that. If you can just have a seat, lay a blanket down and have a picnic outside, just sit down on the ground. I have my mom sitting outside in the sun, not during peak hours because she would burn, but maybe in the first light or the later light of the day. And she sits down and puts her feet barefoot in the grass. So she's getting the sun and then just putting her feet in the grass. Or you can put your feet into any body of water, a lake, a river. I submerge in the ocean, so I'm a big into ocean. I walk barefoot. I'll walk my dog barefoot a couple times a day as well, or play beach volleyball. And I'm a big waterman, so I'm swimming or surfing or free diving and in the ocean all the time, every day. So that's how we get into nature's resonance outside. And then, and then inside, you want to turn your home into nature's resonance. So what that means is if you have a Wi-Fi router, get it out of the bedroom. First off, you never want the Wi-Fi in the bedroom. Second of all, get a $9 outlet timer. So you plug that router into the timer and you set the timer to go off when you're sleeping. So you can get into these deeper states of sleep. If you have a little more disposable income, bring your electrician over and tell him you want to put a timer on your electrical panel that all the electricity goes off in your bedrooms at night. So we're getting this resonance of your home and in your sleeping corridors as low and slow and as close to nature as you can. And you're charging your cell phone devices in the other room and they're on airplane mode outside. So, and then you just have the grounding bags on your bed or underneath your bed, make sure they're touching your bed. those are the simple ways to get into nature's resonance.
That is a great idea. Now, myself, I turn my phone off when I'm charging. Does that work, or do you recommend airplane mode over that?
I like doing both. So just do airplane mode first, because it's not always aggregating information. You got to realize that these devices are meant to always be on. So we got to slow down their aggregation of information. They're doing it for surveillance marketing. They're just selling us stuff, and they can really see where you're at. They can track a lot of different things. Biometrics included, your single most unique identifier. So we just have to slow down their aggregation of information. So the best way to do it is to put those devices on airplane mode and just get them out of your immediate space when you're not using them.
Great idea, great idea. And you've mentioned that your Faraday bags
Faraday
save
bags.
the life of your cell phone battery. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was alluding to, is the reason the life of your battery expires so quickly is because there's 1 to 15 trackers on every app in your iPhone or your cell phone.
God.
So you have to go into the settings and just turn all the stuff off, because they're always tracking stuff. So go into all your settings, go into every single app, click on it, and then stop allowing it to track everything. So once you do that, then you could put your phone in here. You can keep it on. When your phone's on in here, it may or may not ring. It still can ring through here. Frequencies do go in and out of this. So it's not a full block out Faraday cage. It's just 7 millimeters. But what it does is it drops the signal strength to safe levels for our body. But then it also saves the life of your battery, because they can't aggregate that information at record speeds anymore. So that's why the life of our batteries die so quickly, is because of all the apps and all the tracking things that are open on those apps, and they just keep pulling and pulling and draining your battery.
That is just mind-blowing, isn't it? Wow, wow. Oh, well, gosh, these simple steps, Justin, can make a big difference in our health. Would you say it also could make a difference in our attitude, maybe because we're sleeping better?
Yes, 100%. So let me go into some of the effects of EMFs, and that'll help everyone understand that you're exactly right, Paula. This is a huge stressor on how we sleep and our cognitive behaviors. And where it starts is Dr. Martin Pall's work out of Washington State University. He talks about the voltage-gated calciums breaking down. So those are 4 big words. That's the gateway for your cells to derive energy. That's disrupted even with low-level electricity. So there's a vibration that affects it. And so it's an oxidative stress. It calcifies our pineal gland, so we don't connect to God when we're sleeping. It's an endocrine disruptor, so we don't get into those deep replenishing hormonal sleep states where we're replenishing our hormones. 2.45 gigahertz, that's 2.45 billion waves per second. And remember, we sleep at 1 to 8. So it's 10 zeros faster. That's the lowest speed of our cell phones. And that's the lowest speed of a millimeter waves that destructure water. So it's dehydrating us and our environment. So all that leads to cognitive challenges. So lack of focus, memory, anxiety, fatigue, behavioral challenges, stress, headaches, ringing in the ears. And then you go into level 2, which would be the non-trauma concussion symptoms that we saw in the Havana cohort, which was the first attack of US embassy workers on foreign soil with microwave radiation. So they had nausea, vomiting, seizures, muscle twitches, rashes on the skin, bloody noses, obviously more severe ringing in the ears. And then you go into the bigs, which are cancer, suicide, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, which is typed as class 3 diabetes, which is also dehydration, and then Alzheimer's disease as well, dehydration as well. And then the last one, the 6th one, is infertility. So we're seeing massive spikes in all those. And the one consistent variable, Paula, that we've had in our environment for the last 140 years is electricity.
Wow. That is amazing. And I had no idea that it also dehydrated us.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It does. Our bodies just aren't meant to be around this stuff. And there's a book called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg, and he categorized the history of electricity and life. 140 years ago, before they introduced electricity in the homes, he could not find 6 cases of diabetes across the entire world. 6. And then the other interesting point is they call the influenza, they called the flu because it would fly in and fly out with solar flares or cosmic shifts, atmospheric pressure shifts, because it was under the influence of the stars and the solar system. So when there was a shift in our pressure of our environment, our bodies adapted, and a lot of people got sick and didn't do so well. And that same situation has occurred after that, and it's directly correlated with every rollout of non-native waveforms. So in 1918, the Spanish flu, we rolled out radio waves for the first time ever on a broad scale. Then we rolled out radar in World War II and satellites in the Hong Kong flu. And everyone knows what we rolled out the last several years was 5G and the coronavirus. So when you pollute our environment, our bodies adapt. When we pollute the ocean, the marine life adapts. It's not, did that dolphin give that dolphin a virus? It's no, it's who polluted their water. So who's polluting our air? And right now, the biggest polluter is well, there's a bunch of them, the glyphosates, the barium and strontium and the chemtrails, but the big one is this invisible stressor of radiation.
Yeah. And talk about electric cars.
Oh,
I have a hybrid and I wanted to get an electric car, but I'm wondering, is that going to be more of that? I mean,
yes. So Paula, I would highly recommend you avoid electric cars at all costs. And I would recommend you getting rid of your hybrid too. And the reason is because of the battery in them. Our bodies don't do well sitting on massive batteries, and the hybrid ones have a big battery as well, bigger than the combustion engine. So it's just too much for our body. We had a colleague test military special forces, and he tested guys and girls driving electric cars. They had 18% lower testosterone than the rest of the field. It was the single biggest marker change amongst the young, healthy crew. And so this battery, this whole thing, it's a fad. We're not saving the environment. They're still using cobalt and coal and cadmium and precious minerals to mine and extract nickel to use the batteries. Then the batteries, when they expire in a handful of years, they're filling up our landfills with acid. We're using more electricity. This is the craziest thing. Just right out of the gates, you have to use more electricity to use that vehicle. And everyone's saying use less electricity, but you have to use way more to use the vehicle. So it's not a net zero on our environment. They're still using coal and they use diesel to fuel the charging stations. There's not exhaust from the car, but there's exhaust in everywhere else. And then it's destroying our hormones and our health with that close to proximity. And the other part is the grid will never be there. If half the US is in multifamily residences, there never will be a sustainable grid. And with AI taking 5 times the amount of electricity than a normal computer would to do what it's designed to do, we're never going to have the electrical grid to use all this stuff. It's never going to be there. It's a fad. I think it's going to go away. I would stay with a combustion engine vehicle. It's safer on you and then the environment as well.
so basically, we need to just protect ourselves and do our best with the environment. The less of this, the better. And just more energy from our natural energy. My God.
Yeah, and we'll get there. I mean, Japan's going to hydrogen. We'll get into even cleaner fuel sources, and shame on big oil and all this stuff. Like, they're not doing it as clean as they can, and they should do it a lot cleaner. But right now, those are the best resources, and they're abundance. They're abundant of them, with this self-perpetuating energy of water and minerals that we'll always have. But there's this fear that we won't always have it. The companies need to clean up how they access them, and then we're going to be good. And then we can start to move into more hydrogen, even cleaner sources in the future.
Yes.
But electricity is not the answer.
Let's do it. Well, Justin, we have a few minutes left in the show. What last message do you want to share? And please share how the audience can learn more about you and connect with you.
Definitely. Well, the biggest thing I want everyone to understand is that when we learn how we interplay with our environment, we don't have to live in fear ever, because we're one with nature, and get connected to God and stay grounded by nature, and you're protected. You don't have to worry about anything. And the way we recharge our body is through nature's resonance. So get outside into nature and touch a tree. Do what's comfortable for you to be out into the elements. And then when you're not in the elements, use our grounding bags inside your home to create that coherence, because they're hand-mind crystals. They're nature's resonance in a bag that you can bring into your home to create that coherence. And then, also make sure you establish usage protocols with technology and proximity protocols. When you combine all those together, you're going to start to see your health and your vitality and longevity really improve.
Wow. Oh, Justin, this is just such valuable information. I am just so excited to meet you and share all of this. And
oh, thank you.
Because this information really needs to get out there. It really does.
Yeah. And the big thing, the other last component, so I'll end on, is make sure you look at Human Garage. They're fascial maneuvers, so you can get rid of fascial adhesions and you can breathe and self-heal. They say take diatomaceous earth, which is silica, and that'll help rehydrate us. And then they say take Irish sea moss, which will help remineralize us. So make sure you get those elements in your system. And so we're rehydrating, we're remineralizing while we're doing everything else. And you guys, get grounded by nature. It's your nature. And you could find all of our health products on athleticism.com and emfrocks.com. And then I'm on emfrocks.com on Instagram, and Athleticism Neurostacking on Instagram. And on Friday, every noon Pacific time, every Friday, I take over Human Garage's Instagram account, so you can hear me live there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Justin, thank you so much. This is so valuable, and I am excited to learn more and share more.
Oh, thank you, Paula.
Oh,
thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're so welcome. Love, hugs, and blessings. Everybody out there, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you so much for joining us.